Mayoral Memo with Matthew Dickerson from Dubbo Regional Council.
Right now, I'd like to welcome Chair of Regional Cities New South Wales and also the Mayor of Dubbo, Matthew Dickerson. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Jack. Thanks for chatting to me again.
Well, thanks for coming on. Now, you're calling, Regional Cities New South Wales are calling for both sides of politics to support a new solution to address regional skill shortages across the state. It is a big problem. What do you propose?
There's a few things that we believe are good solutions for it. One of the things that used to happen with the old Evo Cities days, and obviously Bathurst used to be in Evo Cities when we were running that program, was really about advertising and promoting what we had in regional areas. A lot of people in Sydney, for example, don't realise that you come over the Blue Mountains and you've still got cities, you've still got bitumen on the roads, electricity, mobile phones. I mean, I'm going a bit too far, but sometimes people don't realise that you've got thriving modern metropolises over the Blue Mountains in regional cities. You don't have bush towns out here. So that's a really tough part. Part of that is people don't realise sometimes the unemployment rates are very low in regional cities. So on average, across all the 15 regional cities that make up RCNSW, the unemployment rate is about 1% lower than the state average. So you've got businesses that are crying out for more employees. You've got businesses that are almost inhibiting their growth because we don't have enough employees. So one of the strategies that we've certainly put forward is an area where we believe we can match up the people in Sydney who want to move out of Sydney, match them up with jobs that are available. And the frustrating part from our perspective was there was $2.5 million in the most recent state budget that we believe was ear-tagged for some type of solution like this. The government's gone in a slightly different direction with a concierge service with a couple of individual towns or cities, and we don't think that's really going to solve the problem en masse. So we'll keep arguing for that one. The other one,
right.
Sorry,
there's just two parts of what you've just said there that I just want to delve into a little bit further. One of them is people not realising what we have out here, and it begs me to ask the question: Do we promote ourselves well in the regions? Because one part of that could be tourism marketing, and that could get the message out to people that we are, cities with bitumen and all the other things that you just mentioned.
Well, I think one of the things is that we do a good job of promoting what we've got with the funds that we've got available to us. And that was the thing that we found with Evo Cities. We had, when the initial days of Evo Cities, we had good funds from the federal government and the state government, and then all the Evo Cities put in money as well. So we had a pool of funds that we could use for marketing, and we were getting good cut through, we were getting good results from that promotion, but it costs a lot of money. When you want to advertise in Sydney, whether it be newspapers, radios, TV, whatever you want to use, it's expensive to advertise. So you've got to go there with a decent budget. At the moment, we haven't got a large budget, and that $2.5 million that was tagged for some type of regional city living and working campaign, we believe part of that money, with a contribution from some of the regional cities as well, would have given us a good pool to run with to really promote regional cities and what we've got to offer.
Just playing devil's advocate here, the other part of that is, of course, the employment opportunities out here. But where, and we've spoken about this before, where are people going to live?
They go hand in hand, don't they? That is part of the problem. And so we have been working on that, and that's one of our other election priorities that we've put to the state government to try and work with regional cities to work out the housing solution. So we do have a bit of that problem now where some people are wanting to move to regional cities and finding somewhere to live is quite difficult. So we put forward a number of proposals there. Some of those proposals involve using some Crown land that may be unutilised at the moment or not being used at all, maybe using some of that for some housing, maybe having some help with our planners. All the councils across the state, not just the regional cities, have a severe problem at the moment, not having enough planning staff. So when builders put in DAs, it's taking too long to get those DAs out because there's so much pressure on that. And again, the state government, we think there's a few things they could do to help with that. Some of the accelerated infrastructure as well, getting some help from the state government in getting some infrastructure in the ground so that when we do development of various blocks of land in regional cities, we can do larger chunks of land rather than do 20 blocks at a time and then sell those and then do a few more as you would normally do in development. When development was going along at a normal rate, it's going along at a much faster rate than ever before, so we need to be able to have some solutions to those housing problems. I think some of the things that the regional cities themselves are doing is really looking at diversity of stock, so not just the good old-fashioned 1,200 square metre block with a 300 square metre house on that. Look at different types of housing, smaller blocks of land, apartment housing, unit housing, duplex or dual occupancy, as well as some of those larger houses that people typically expect to see in regional areas. Having that diversity is really important.
So tell us, before I jumped in there, that of course the DAMA, D-A-M-A, Designated Area Migration Agreement, would that propose to see overseas skilled migrants coming out to the regions? Absolutely
right, and we've got that happening at the moment. I know in some of the regional cities, for example, you've got around 20% of the people in those cities that were born overseas. So it's not as if we aren't accustomed to people coming from overseas and living in our regional cities. We welcome them, they bring skills, they bring diversity, they bring multiculturalism to the community. So it's wonderful to see those communities there. But again, some of this is lack of education, Jack. Some of it, when people move from overseas, they see the Sydney Harbour Bridge, they see the Opera House, and they think that's all we've got. They don't realise that you go to regional locations and you've got these thriving cities. So again, part of that's migration, getting people from the city that's already there that have come from overseas, but also people that do come from overseas, working out visa programs to help them come to regional areas. The DAMA, the Designated Area Migration Agreement, that is with the federal government, not the state government. But again, all these things go hand in hand together. We believe the solution is people from overseas and people from Sydney learning about what we've got to offer.
People might think that since COVID, people are moving out to our region in droves. But latest data from the Regional Australia Institute shows that regional New South Wales is now less favoured for migration compared to Victoria and regional Queensland. In fact, it's dropped from 50% of all city to region migration in December 2021 to just 26% now.
And that's right. It did actually work quite effectively during the pandemic, and I don't want to talk positively about something that was so negatively impacted the world, but from a regional perspective, I think all the work that we'd done over Evo cities and all the work we'd done trying to promote regional living, it got to the point when the pandemic came along, then you had people in Sydney who said, we don't want to be in this crowded metropolis. We want to get somewhere where there's a little bit more air around us and we can work from home. So why would we not want to work from home in Bathurst rather than work from home in a suburb in Sydney? So it did actually work quite well. What we've got to do is capitalise on that. And I don't think we as a state did that well enough. I don't think the state government did that well enough. And to be fair, I don't think all the regional cities did that well enough to capitalise on those people that started moving during the pandemic. Then we're kind of over the pandemic now, and so we've lost a bit of that momentum. Part of the strategy we've got at the moment with the election platform is to try and get the state government to realise that we can solve a problem for the state government. We've got about 1 million people we represent across the 15 regional cities, and we think some of the infrastructure problems they have in Sydney, some of the problems where they're continually building tunnels and there's all this work with extra housing, there are so many problems you see in Sydney with too many people in Sydney. Well, we're putting our hand up saying we can help solve the problem. We've got 15 cities that we want people to move to, and we can take some of that pressure off the infrastructure. So we're really just being helpful to the state government, Jack.
And asking for some funding to build some new social and affordable housing and increase our services and our health services as well, I imagine.
Oh, well, maybe some things along those lines might help as well. But it's interesting because affordable housing, social affordable housing, is something that's right under the jurisdiction of state government, not councils, not local government. A lot of people turn to local government to get solutions for, well, everything generally, but social housing is one of those areas. And we feel like our hands are tied a little bit. It's not our area where we're responsible for it. We don't have the funding to do it, so we turn to the state government to get help. But one of the sneaky solutions we've got is that we believe if we can provide more housing in regional areas, that'll actually take a bit of the pressure off. And obviously supply and demand says, while there's huge demand and less supply, you're going to get prices going up, which makes it hard for everyone in that spectrum, including the area of the affordable housing sort of solution. So by going to the mix of saying, let's put more housing in the mix, that will help some of those prices down the bottom. And then certainly we still want the state government to come along with some social housing.
Excellent to catch up with you. Thank you for your time.
My pleasure, Jack. Thank you for your time.
See you. Chair of Regional Cities New South Wales, also the Mayor of Dubbo there, Matthew Dickerson. Another interesting stat from the Regional Australia Institute is only 12% of migration within Australia is from capitals to regional areas. There you go. Coming up next, we catch up with the Bathurst Regional Art Gallery.
Mayoral Memo with Matthew Dickerson from Dubbo Regional Council.